Okay guys, welcome to the first of our video series where I'm going to give you an insight as to how I coach and what I do to improve my clients' technique on various exercises and movements to best improve their mechanics for the lift, their muscle development, as well as their strength. So today we've got my good friend Sonia, who I have never coached before outside of this session. So just to give you a little bit of a background on Sonia, she came to me for nutritional advice whereby we've given her some hunger and satiety ratings to do along with a food journal, and then I got her onto a proper strength program she has fallen in love with, and as a result asked me to check her technique on a number of lifts, having sent me video footage of her training for the last month. So here we have her squatting, and we obviously first assess our clients. So the first thing we do at JPS, and I do with my clients, is assess their movement, and we do this with a number of screening tests. However, in this case, because I had footage of Sonia's squat, there was no need to screen her because the movement itself and watching the footage was the screening, and she had no pain or issue squatting, so we can get straight into things. Now, as you can see there, she's relatively strong. Her previous 1 rep max was 70 kilos before today, and you'll notice there, just in front of Sonia's feet now, there are some small micro plates on the floor, and this is to elevate her heels. Now, one of the first things I noticed when Sonia was squatting, and this is very common in a lot of lifters, is that her feet were moving. So when we look at the squat and we look at the totality of somebody's movement, we must always assess every joint involved in a specific exercise. So the first thing I did was look at her heels. Her feet were moving, and by simply placing some plates underneath her feet, we elevated the heels and eliminated that inward rotation of her feet. This allowed her knees to progress forward over her toes with a lot more ease and made the movement much more sound at the bottom of the lift. So the next thing we need to look at, and I'm always looking for, especially in my female clients, is the posture that they have at their hips and the lower back. Now, it is very common for females to have what is known as anterior pelvic tilt, and that is where the pelvis is rolled forward and they have an excessive curve or arch in their lower back, otherwise known as lordosis. Now, this excessive extension can be problematic during the squat because we obviously load the bar onto the spine, so we need to have a neutral spine. So you'll notice when she unracks the bar, I cue her now into getting her glutes activated and by pulling her pelvis under so that her spine is neutral. As she steps back, you'll notice now that I roll her pelvis under, getting her to bring her rib cage down. What this does is it aligns the spine and it allows the loading of the bar to be on the hamstrings and glutes as we descend through the movement. Obviously 60 kilos here, moving quite well for 3 reps, and we're going to increase the weight now. So it's extremely important that all these postural abnormalities that we have are corrected when we squat, as not to create imbalances and injuries. So one of the most important things with any movement is the safety of the movement. Now, it goes without, repeating myself, but you need to have a safe movement for the movement to be efficient, okay? And efficiency is obviously going to lead to helping Sonia achieving her goals, which is strengthening hypertrophy. Now, when we go through the setup of the squat, I'm always coaching my clients to think about getting as tight as possible, because the tighter you are, the stronger you'll be, the greater you can express force. If you are loose and you are not contracting your upper back, your core, and your glutes at the starting position of the lift, it's quite likely that when you get to the bottom, the weight will become too hard and inertia will overcome you, and you won't be able to maximize the stretch reflex in the hips and overcome the resistance of the weight. So the start position, as you can see I'm showing Sonia here, is to pull the pelvis down, pull the pelvis under, the ribs down, and think about being stiff from the hips up. So as the loads get heavier, you'll notice now that I'm going to teach Sonia how to use a belt. So she'd never used a belt before, and I'm simply showing her now how to breathe in and out using my belly.
It could be me too. Right, so I'm happy to do my strength bit.
And this will be extremely important for creating intra-abdominal pressure. So the more air we expand into the abdomen and then into the belt creates pressure within the abdominal wall, and that expands the space between the vertebrae, ensuring that the spinal integrity is maintained. Another thing that's extremely important that I discuss with my clients when they're squatting is lumbar pelvic control. So a lot of lifters will simply drop extremely quickly into the bottom position of a squat, and this can be problematic for a number of reasons. The first is they may lose control of their lumbar and the way that the pelvis moves at the top of the rep, going into excessive extension, which is really common with female lifters, as I explained. So what we need to do is to teach our clients to control that top position and then pick up speed as they hit the hole. There's always a trade-off between maximizing the stretch reflex and controlling the pelvis, but we can negate this trade-off by getting slower at the top and then picking up speed as we hit the bottom. So you'll see Sonia now, she's got 65 on the bar, a little bit of forward shift there, but her second and third rep were a lot better. She stayed tighter and drove straight up into the bar. So we'll see there, I was very happy with those last two reps. The first rep, a little bit misgrooved as she shifted forward, but overall it was a pretty good set. I was happy with that, so I was full steam ahead to 70 kilos, which is her current 1 rep max, and we're going to go for 3 reps again. So we've spoken about the setup, the starting position, making sure that we have the ribs down, glutes on, and that we descend with control at the top and pick up speed as we hit the hole to maximize the stretch reflex. But something that's often forgotten when we teach our clients the squat is the ascent. You know, we have it ingrained in our cueing methodology that chest up, knees out is how we should cue our clients with the squat. However, when a client has an anterior pelvic tilt, the last thing you want to be doing is coaching them to lift their chest. This will only further their anterior pelvic tilt and get them into excessive extension, risking injury of the lower back. In this case, what we need to cue them to do is to think about squeezing their abs and holding their breath in at the bottom of the lift whilst driving their upper back straight up into the bar. So the cue that I like to use is stiffness and into the bar, stiffness into the bar. And this really helps with females or anybody with an anterior pelvic tilt. And then once they get this concept and they can clearly demonstrate to me that they're not lifting their chest, trying to escape the bar essentially, I will then cue them to spread the floor and getting their knees out. So you can see now that I'm talking to Sonia about her squat, and what we're discussing now is the setup and unracking of the bar. So obviously Sonia has a very inefficient unracking of the bar, but that's something that we can fix over time. And today, being our first session, our primary importance was the things that I've already spoken about. And again, one of the most important things to do with your clients is to continually reinforce the same cues over and over. If you throw too many different things at your clients, they can get quite confused and it can be hard for them to grasp what you're wanting them to achieve within a given set. As you'll notice, Sonia is quite strong, so we need to understand that she will have quite a lot of strength in her quads, and the rate limiting factor for her squat is not in fact her lower body strength, but it's her lower back strength and ability to control her core through the sticking point. So a quick note on that: most people will get stuck at about 30 degrees above parallel.
Anyway, moving forward.
And you'll see that she fights through the 70 really well. That was an excellently executed rep. Second rep was some forward shift, and the third rep was a really good rep again. So she just hit her 1 rep max for 3 reps there. So you can see the importance of improving technique for somebody who's been lifting for a little while in terms of improving their mechanics and getting progress long term. So as I was saying, people will typically stick at about 30% above, 30 degrees rather, above parallel. Now,
that's what I want to do.
when we get above parallel, 2 things will happen. They'll either hold position and drop to the floor, missing the squat, which can indicate that their legs aren't strong enough. Conversely, you may see them get to the sticking point and their hips will shift up and their lower body dropping, and then they'll good morning out of the squat. What this means is that their lower back is extremely strong and their quads aren't strong enough. You may then also see the case where somebody comes up above parallel and starts shifting forward or rounding in their lower back, and that can demonstrate that they have a weak core musculature.
So when you guys came along, I went, because I was even going to go up to.
A few final notes before we wrap up the video is that we need to understand that not only do people need ankle and hip mobility, but they also need a good degree of thoracic mobility. So Sonia is quite tight through her thoracic, and you can see that when she's standing there, her shoulders are rolled forward a little bit and she has some slight kyphosis. But when she puts her hands on the bar, she's quite internally rotated. Now this can cause problems at the bottom of the squat, which I think is attributing to her forward shift as her thoracic is flexing as she comes out of the hop. Now, we can fix this through doing some mobility drills, but sometimes it's really easy to overcome this kind of problem by cueing somebody to change their hand position and to tuck their elbows under the bar. Again, you'll need to practice remaining stiff and tight under the bar over time, and then the squat should be improved from there. So we're going to see Sonia now perform her final sets for the day of 75 kilos. Now we were aiming for 3 reps here, but we only got 2 reps out. So another thing that's really important to understand is rest periods between sets when you're testing somebody's 3 rep max, 1 rep max, whatever it may be. And the important consideration here is ensuring that we have eliminated all of the fatigue that will potentially impact her subsequent set. So Sonia was ready to go and lift her 75. She was quite eager after just a few minutes of having completed her 70 kilo squats. However, what she didn't recognize was that her muscles may be fresh and she may be feeling okay as there's no metabolite buildup or swelling or soreness in the muscles, but her central nervous system's quite fatigued. So ensuring that you allow a long enough recovery for your clients to eliminate fatigue from not only the muscles but as well as the central nervous system is pivotal to their performance and getting a true understanding of their repetition max. So now we have Sonia unracking the bar for 75 kilos, which is quite a decent squat. I'm confident she'll hit 100 kilos before the year's end for at least 2 to 3 reps. But you can see here, she's staying a lot tighter at the bottom. Again, I think that thoracic led to a little bit of forward lean as she came out of the hole. But her second rep was a good grind and she stayed with it. but overall the squat was a lot better. Her technique improved. She had a much better understanding of the things she needed to focus on in the squat with her starting position, the descent, as well as the ascent, and we got a great result in the end with a 75 kilo, which is 5 kilo PB for 2 reps. So guys, that's how I fix the squat for my clients. If you like the video, please comment below, and we'll speak to you guys next time.
See, I just think that that person is a lifetime client of yours.